There is no sound.
Energy during the day, which I used to be pretty exhausted before. So it's complete like 360-degree turnaround for me.
The most wonderful thing is the science of friendship. That is the ultimate thing. More than science of meditation, it is the science of friendship. Whether you are a meditator or not, whether you are enlightened or not, whether you are good or bad, you can always be friends with everything. Friendship is the goal. And you arrive at the science of friendship through the science of meditation. Science of friendship is the science of enlightenment. Enlightenment is nothing but friendship. Eternal friendship with everybody.
I'm happy for no reason. I'm contented with whatever I have. The relationships that we have with people around us, in my view, it has improved a lot. Okay, I see it for myself, I feel it for myself. Not I see, I feel it for myself. So that's there.
I've seen tremendous improvement. I was not able to sit before. I'm sitting now, folding legs, and that my physical pain was affecting my sleep. So that has improved significantly since pain has reduced. So I'm able to sleep better. So and I'm seeing like overall, so because of that, my mood during the day is wonderful, and I feel I have a lot of energy during the day, which I used to be pretty exhausted before. So it's complete like 360-degree turnaround for me.
A very good morning, afternoon, and a beautiful evening to all our dear Buddha CEO co-meditators. I'm Vinita, host for the week, leading a skill assessment company and blessed with a small, beautiful family. Last year, same days, 2022 January, I had the good fortune of being introduced to meditation by Chandra sir, and that journey has led me here today before you. We are in the 4th week of Harmony program. In first week, we learned about meditation, a process to know oneself. Second week was Health Week, and we learned how meditation keeps us healthy, highly energetic, and productive. Third week, we learned how to manifest an extraordinary life with meditation. And now, in this 4th week, we would be understanding about emotional intelligence. Meditation improves emotional intelligence significantly and helps us become more inspired, empathetic, and engaging. I'm sure we all are getting the benefits of practicing breath mindful meditation, and undoubtedly, you all must be glowing inside out. So let's welcome Chandra sir to have more wisdom pearls on emotional intelligence. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinita madam, and dear friends. Happy morning to everybody. Good afternoon, wonderful evening. Some of us were in Pyramid Valley International yesterday. And my dear friend, Shreyans Daga, was concluding his program. It's a 5-day program to know more about ourselves. The program is a 5-day retreat. And so whoever I went and asked, only one thing they had to say: words cannot express. I cannot explain how much happy I am. One of the best things that I've taken as a decision to come to this place for various reasons. They're all very, very satisfied for the decision they've taken to spend 5 days away from the environment that they were always, and to be with a new environment, a group of new people whose only goal is to know more about themselves. And then, of course, to be with Shreyans and Varun Dagas. A new environment, which is Pyramid Valley. A beautiful, close to nature. Basically, it's nature. It's all nature. And so then this 1 week of time spent where our environment and then the people around are always defining what we are. That in moment to moment as our emotions. Moment to moment, we are defined by our environment. 99% of what we are is a moment-to-moment thought. And then feeling that we generate from that moment through the people, situations, environment around. And so then 5 days of it ought to be greater, elevated emotions throughout for them. Because all things are going great. First of all, you're disconnected from the day-to-day. And then you replace that with something of higher. If our daily environment where we spend time, whether it's work, whether it's home, whether it's a community, if that it changes to that, the same level of environment that you are spending for a week. The stat is that every time you spend more than 4 or 5 days like that, then you are a changed personality. If 4 to 5 days away from your routine environment, you're a changed personality. So if we can bring the similar environment to our office spaces where we're spending close to 40% of our times, some places for some people is 50%, 60%, and bring the similar environment to our homes, then we'll all be always emotionally balanced, emotionally regulated, emotionally high. Being in that higher emotion that we are coherent with everything around. And so then we create a great future for ourselves. For the 3 things that meditation is helping to do: 1, making us very, very focused so that we can participate back into our life. 2nd, it makes us unlimited, understand that unlimited nature of ourselves. But the 3rd thing difference is to make us very empathetic and friendliness that it develops because it makes us whole, connects us. So we're going to explore these concepts this week and next week. Has emotional intelligence this week, but has spiritual intelligence next week. That helping us connect with everybody around. Now, connection is friendship. Patriji, long ago, when somebody asks, why are you in this program? Okay, I want to enhance my relationships, better my relationships. I have these challenges and I would like to get to better my relationships. And he said, it's not bettering relationships, you want to dissolve relationships. The end result of any meditation program is they're going to dissolve all relationships and then transform them into beautiful friendships. At first, a relation will get enhanced significantly, and then second, they get dissolved where everybody becomes a friend to each other. Friendship is knowing everything about a person and still accepting the person as ease. So the three no's that are there, that no violence, no killing, and no interference, only when we are emotionally intelligent can we implement this non-interference appropriately. Non-interference into no matter who that is. It could be my spouse, my child, my parents, my colleagues, non-interference. To understand what is non-interference and to be aware to not do it. So during the next 2 weeks, we're going to understand how meditation is helping us to transform everything around into a greater friendship. Friendship with ourselves first. We've heard these messages. Self-love is the biggest thing I've learned. Friendship with ourselves. You accept yourself as is. You know everything about you. Of course, you know more about. Many people don't know about themselves, number one. They start looking ourselves deeply and then so we start knowing about ourselves. But friendship with ourselves, in spite of knowing what we are. Friendship with others, which we understand it. But friendship with animals, friendship with planet. At workplace, everything cannot be emergency. Those who are not emotionally intelligent leaders will make everything emergency. Everything urgent, everything today, everything this moment. They're not emotionally intelligent, we make everything emergency. We drive people crazy. When we're not emotionally intelligent, we don't know when we are crossing over the line. We don't know. How to communicate, not communicate, because the tone itself is not even regulated. Whereas meditation, dear friends, where we're building our awareness about everything, about our thought, our feeling, our reaction, we're building our awareness so beautifully that we have opportunities to change the response that we've been able to give before. And we are aware, and so that we're aware of a thought, that means we're aware of our words. So an opportunity to pull back. We've got a set of people out there. And you're observing who is there, who is not there. And so then your ability to speak appropriately that meets everybody's necessary needs is enhanced significantly because we're aware. That's all. A lot of times we're not even aware of anyone and they only want to just drive our point. Simple. Emotional intelligence spreads across to our life. We talk this example, when you're driving, when the traffic gets stuck, and so then we are completely lost off from our emotions. We're just only talking. We completely lost ourselves. Talking about governments and criticizing. And somebody cuts across, we forget about ourselves. We lose ourselves from an emotion kicks in. And so we get derailed completely. It's about not getting derailed from what we are doing and then being able to still perform our best is emotional intelligence. Not get derailed from what we are doing. And highly emotionally regulated, intelligent person, number one, will not get derailed from what you're doing and then continue to be able to give their best by recovering pretty quickly. Because events will happen all the time. And a highly emotionally intelligent person is able to create a greater future by rallying people around, by inspiring them around to create a greater future, because 2 + 2 is never 4. 2 + 2 must be 40, 400. Because when two hands come together, it's not just linearly stronger. When two hands come together, a lot more stronger. The things you can do together are many more. The things you can't do with single hand. It's just not linear. There are things that you can't do with a single hand. Only two people can come together. Two hands can come together to do it. We know that. The number of experiences you can have when we are together with people is far greater. That's how companies are built, right? That's how many experiences could be had. So, dear friends, when I learned meditation is building this awareness is a basis for all the emotional intelligence. And it's just building it naturally. It's just building. The reservoir is built of awareness. And so then it develops so much confidence to us about building a greater emotional regulation. It becomes very easy. We don't have to try many things. Just sit down and close our eyes and observe breath. And then we are getting a better person pretty quickly because of this awareness. The basis for all our benefits. We'll understand it. Before that, let's go into our meditation once again, dear friends. Those of you join new, we're practicing breath mindfulness meditation. In this meditation, we are spending our time observing our breath, our natural breath. It's called breath meditation also, and then more 1 and 2 in the world who practice meditation typically are doing breath meditation. Simply observing your breath and letting your breath take you to the depths of no thought states, thoughtless states, to an empty states where there's all emptiness around. When thoughts are removed, when you observe the breath slowly, thoughts become lesser and lesser. As thoughts are becoming lesser and lesser, we lose the sense of material things around, including our body, and so we start experiencing emptiness. The goal of meditation is to be observing the breath, to be going to those empty states of mind, and so then empty states that we are experiencing, just by observing the breath. So let me put up a slide to show what's the posture for those of you join new this week, starting with us. So as you see in the picture, you sit down with your eyes closed. If you're wearing specs, remove them. And then your feet crossed, fingers into fingers, hands in your lap comfortably placed. So 3 things you're doing: legs crossed, hands clasped, and then in your lap. And then eyes closed. Remove the spectacles. Sit comfortably. Take back support if necessary. Spine need not be erect. And then in that posture, relaxed posture, you're observing your breath. Take a reference point anywhere in the nose. And then at that point, observe the air going in and coming out, your natural breath. No manipulation of the breath. Your natural breath going in and coming out, you observe it. As you observe the breath slowly, breath becomes lighter, shorter. You continue to observe it, and then slowly takes you into empty states. The states where there is nothing around you, no people, no places, no things around you. In case you have thought and you recognize you're thinking at any time of the meditation, you bring your attention back to the breath. Attention back to the breath, again observe. So this is called breath mindfulness meditation. And before we do that, we're doing something called heart elevation process, which is an active mind process where we are bringing up an emotion from our past and experience, and then relieve that to fill up our body and heart with that higher emotion like love, gratitude, compassion. Just follow my guidance for this. Relax yourself, dear friends. Your eyes closed, relax your body. Dear friends, dear masters, With your eyes closed, specs removed, keep your hands on your chest area. With your attention on your sacred heart. Can you feel the beautiful heart? Feel this seat of all emotions, which is nurturing all life with love, compassion, kindness, care. Connect with it, dear friends. The center of all emotions, feel it. Your beautiful heart. Can you recollect an experience from your past, from your present, or from your mind movie of love, of compassion, kindness, and care? And relive that moment and feel that energy. Relive that moment and feel that energy inside your beautiful heart, and radiate that energy onto every corner of this planet Earth to heal all things and everybody. The more you experience these energies of love, joy, compassion, the more we become coherent in our body and mind. The more we become coherent with this quantum field. Feel it. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation with your fingers into fingers, resting your hands comfortably in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath, dear friends. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. When you observe your breath, slowly your thoughts may become lesser and lesser, and you may experience emptiness inside of you, all around you. Allow yourself to merge into that in-breath and the out-breath. It is natural to have thought. When you recognize your thinking, go back to observing your breath, dear friends, and allow yourself to slowly find that emptiness all around. As our thoughts become lesser, we allow our body to function at its natural best. We channelize all that energy into the gentlest present moment. We build greater awareness. Be with your breath. Allow yourself to merge into your breath. And allow yourself to experience that emptiness, that blackness. Spreading far and wide beyond your body, beyond your room, stretching into the edges of this universe. can you become aware of that emptiness, that blackness, where there's no body, where there's no thing. All emptiness is energy, the quantum field of limitless possibilities. This is the field of all creation. The longer you stay aware of that emptiness, that energy, away from your body, away from your life, the more possibilities you draw into your life. Allow yourself to merge into that emptiness of yourself. Your greater intelligence. Everybody and everything are connected in this field of energy. The longer you stay connected to this emptiness, this energy, as no body, as no thing, the more you experience everybody and everything. Okay, friends. Hope you enjoy the session. If anybody joined new today, please write in the chat how you felt. For some, it is very quick that we are going through this 45 minutes. And for some, it is very daunting. It's a lot of effort to try to keep our attention away from thought. But with practice, everything will come. So many of us are rallying here for a long time, for this is 4th week, is because we're practicing it. Our body is so conditioned to the comfort zones can easily pull us back. So just continue to do it for a few days. Try it out before we say this can be very challenging. Because normally, it's taking a couple of weeks, anywhere between a week to 2 weeks for people to sort of settle into the practice to make it more easier to observe the breath and stay for observing when the thoughts are there. So we're talking about emotional intelligence. So I want to bring up a very important concept as part of emotional intelligence we always cover, called learning to doing to being. Meditation is helping us significantly increase our emotional intelligence, EQ, emotional quotient, emotional regulation. Let's understand this concept because it's very, very linked to how we can provide a different response when there are emotions that are otherwise normal body used to sort of emotions and they're coming out. How can I give a different response? How can I transform myself from my old emotional self to a new emotional self? And it requires us to understand this fundamental concept of how our brain is learning, our body is learning. And then how meditation sort of making it all happen seamlessly so that people who try to change their behaviors. For example, simple thing, that if you're a perfectionist and when you see something that's not that perfect or not the way that you want it to be, then your emotion immediately raises. You are wanting to immediately give that feedback right then and there or criticize either somebody or yourself. That's your old behavior, old self. But then a person who is highly emotionally intelligent would first look at, they can still provide the feedback, but they first look at and say, is it relevant to even give my feedback? And then if you still want to give my feedback at this moment, then should I be acknowledging the feelings of the other person or thing before we go and then give the feedback, number 2? And then what is the right timing to give the feedback? Is it now or is it later? An emotionally intelligent person will need to be aware to make all these calls immediately, right then and there. Should I even bother about giving? Does it matter? Then if I decide that I want to give, is it now or later? And then in order to lay the foundation for me to give the feedback later, can I do something now? In a way that I respond to the other person and that person feels like there is some connection so that giving my feedback later become easy. as opposed to simply just bursting out a set of things because you just find it imperfect. So in our three brains, dear friends, the mind is divided into three, and the brain is divided into three areas. We keep bringing back because meditation in a great level is mind development. The seen mind, the known mind, the unseen, unknown mind. Both are there. So we talk in the language of mind, and then a spiritual language is called the language of mind and soul, body, mind, and soul. We're talking in the language of mind, where here we see the brain is divided into a conscious mind for the human brain. Neocortex is a big part of the brain. It's a big part of the brain. The peach color is the human brain, which can think, which can learn. The second one is very important in the dealing with emotions, is also called the emotional brain, the limbic system, the subconscious, which is inside, sitting. Our emotions, long-term memory, they're combined into this limbic system, emotional brain, where it stores all of past memories and then stores our emotional baggage out there. The third one is an unconscious mind, which is the being brain. For a moment, it's easy to go in there once we know how to access and how to operate with this second brain, limbic system or emotional brain. It's also called the doing brain. First one is learning, but the doing, the expression of emotion is happening from the second with the doing brain. Whatever it's got is what it is going and then doing. So the emotional center, which is part of this brain called amygdala, has got areas. Now, what is brain areas? There all are neural circuits. There are neural circuits, neurons, and then they're connecting with each other every time the brain is learning. And so this emotional center has all kinds of memories that are associated with emotion. So every time emotions are repeated, every time an event is repeated, every time, suppose you have a specific type of discussion with your manager at work or with your spouse at home, that is repetitive. That leads to either excitement or leads to deep illusion about that relationship or that thing that you're working with your manager. That discussion is either good or not good, one of those two. And so every time it repeats, and then there is an emotion that is carried with it. You feel good or you don't feel good at all. Instead, you feel frustrated, let's say. And one of those two emotions are carried. And so every time those are repeated and repeated, now that memory of dealing with this person is horrible. And so then our dealing with person is great. One of those two emotions are getting recorded into this emotional brain. And so when you look at that person, the first thing that comes is that emotion of feeling great, emotion of feeling horrible. Because the subconscious is synthesized over a period of events, all that you're learning and then storing there. Fear is a center, is an emotion. Depending on what kind of experience you had going in the night to a place and coming back, or what kind of experience you had every time you went into forest and come back, what kind of experience you had every time you went to the downtown and come back. The fear can set in depending on the experience. Some people really love all those three examples. They really love because they had positive experiences repeatedly, and then those others who had have a lot of fear, associated with the same thing because they had negative experience of seeing an animal or people holding, showing very being harsh in a downtown with some kind of overexcitement. So the fear is again stored. Our love is stored in this emotional center. Our joy is stored, or now suffering is stored. All these emotions are stored in this emotional brain, which is subconscious brain, which is inside, which is beyond this frontal brain, thinking brain. When you're experiencing something, emotion is always attached as an experience. So when you experience something, that emotion is, when you experience something, emotion is there, but when you experience something repeatedly, then it is going in as a deeper emotion recording into the subconscious. Something very light, it doesn't really go. Something that is deeper, that you call it emotions. You're learning things without having an emotion, there's nothing that gets recorded there. But if you're learning things with a lot of emotion, things get recorded there because emotion is getting recorded there. Let's understand this a little bit more, what I'm saying here. Because our brain, the way it learns, if we understand it, and then emotional intelligence is about taking a better response in a given situation, and the better response is always coming with a newer learning. And so then we must understand how the brain is learning. That newer learning must be very, very deeply recorded. The research is saying that when you learn something about how to be cool, how to be compassionate, how to be forgiving, how to be non-judgmental, when you're learning something, research is showing that 75% of all the learning is going wasted because it's never recollected, because it could not be even recorded properly. 60% of what we learn is disappearing in a day, and 90% of what we learn is going away in 30 days. And so then every time, dear friends, when you're expressing that anger, and then you say that, hey, I really have to change my anger because I'm losing out. People judge me, and then I don't know, I'm causing so much damage to people. And so I must really learn a way to deal with my anger. There are two ways that people are doing. One is they are developing awareness enough that they change their behavior. Another is they simply completely isolate themselves from situations because they just did not know how to change their anger behavior. Instead, so the only thing they know is that I can isolate themselves. I pull back. Oh, big meeting, I don't want to be there because I don't know what I'm going to say. Oh, my family meeting, let me not get involved because I don't have control. I'll just say something and it's going to just set loose many things. So we completely pull back when we're expressing this. When we're not able to control emotion, then we start avoiding things. We start avoiding things. The child who does not know how to deal with the parent completely disappears from the scene every time they see the situation coming up because they don't know how to deal with it. We read a lot of things. We try to learn a lot of things about how to do anger management, this and that, dear friends. But the problem is that the learning is about artificial, superficial. So let's understand this brain's learning and see how meditation is helping us to learn deeper, where it's helping us to change that emotional center with our new learning. So that rather than disappearing from the scene or withdrawing from a given situation, because we are worried about what kind of emotion we express, we are fully present there and then apply our new learning to change our behavior in a new way. So our brain has 100 billion neurons, or the neuron cells, the neurons, and then each neuron is connecting to another neuron. Like here you see in the picture, all these star-shaped ones are neurons. There is a center, it's got spoke, the spikes are there. And so this star-shaped one, and each one is a neuron connecting to another neuron on the side through a neural connection, what is called. Okay. And each neuron connects with another one up to 40,000 times. Now, a neuron, remember, is all smaller than a grain of salt. Much smaller. But they have so many connections. A neuron connects with another one. It's 40 to 100,000 neurons it can connect to map out what you learn. Now, learning, each time you learn something, a connection is formed. A set of connections are formed. When you learn something, a set of connections are formed. So if I learn Earth is round as a text, then it forms potentially, let's say, about 15,000 connections. Earth is round, and if I'm learning that, then I have to store this information called Earth is round, then it stores in about 15,000 connections are formed. The brain capacity is insignificantly high. So much memory is there. It's unlimited capacity. And so every time I'm learning something, Earth is round. So then let's say 15,000 connections are formed. Now the same Earth is round, instead as text, if I learn as a visual, so picture is there. A round picture, Earth in the globe shape is there, all that kind of greenery, and then something is written, Earth is round. Then I'm associating that visual with the round. So then now, in order to store it, the brain uses many connections. Instead of 15,000, I may use 1,000,000 connections to store the picture along with that knowledge. So a learning with normal textual learning to visual learning. Now, visual learning, now let's say you add a feeling to it, some experience to it. So somebody is talking about the same thing, Earth is round, in the form of a movie. So they make a movie. And then you're watching the movie that Earth is revolving. Earth is revolving, and then they're showing the greenery, they're showing Earth in the space with along with other planets, and then the smallness or bigness of Earth. And they're also showing some emotions of people and the Earth, how they're coherently they are, and then they're trying to make a connection, a message. And then they finally say this Earth is round, it's not flat, as we've been told in the past. And so they're trying to put a story here. It's all visual. Now visuals with feelings are there in that video. So then, dear friends, in order to store that feeling as you learn it, then we are utilizing not 1,000,000 connections, maybe 100 million connections. Now, the brain is learning the same information, one with textual, another is visual, another is visual with feeling. Varying degree of capacity of the brain is used. In one case, 15,000 connections, in another case, 1,000,000, in another case, 100 million, just to learn the same thing. Now, the nature of our cells of the body is that they all are regenerate. They die and the new cells get generated. Now you see, if I'm storing in a few connections, and if the cells die, when the cells die, and if Earth is round, in that, even if that E is gone, if the cells die, and so some memory goes away, if E is gone, then Earth itself is gone our memory. So you don't know what that word anymore is. Round, if there are 2 letters are gone from it, if 10% of it is gone, then 2 letters are gone. So then that memory is gone for us, because you can't make out what is the round. In that round, 2 letters are gone. So you don't know what that is anymore. So the memory is gone, because when memory cells are dying, and so then it is losing out the memory because it's stored in fewer connections. But the same thing, dear friends, when it is stored in a much larger, 1,000,000 connections are taken a picture. Stored as a picture, 1,000,000 connections are taken, there is so much context. And if the same 10% in 1,000,000 is still 999 1,000 connections. So the chance of losing the data is much lesser when you store it visually. Now, when you store with feeling, then you have many connections. Even if some of them go away, you still have the whole thing to be able to reconstruct that Earth is round, because you associate round with the picture. When you see the picture that Earth is round comes, you associate round with the feeling, and you see the feeling, then automatically that memory comes back to you because you already associated. So the point is that when you are learning with feeling visually, when you're learning with feeling visually, with experientially, then you're storing a lot more data, a lot more connections. And so then your ability to recollect is higher. Now, cells that fire together, wire together is another important element. That fire together, wire together. So whenever you repeat things, firing together means when you repeat things, when you learn, whatever you learn, you repeat it, recollect it, then you're making more connections. And so automatically, if you go and watch a movie and repeat the movie, and then you're able to remember it so strongly for a long time, because A, it is feeling driven, emotions driven, so it's storing a lot many connections, and then when you're recollecting it, so you've got a lot many connections. So you don't forget it for a long time. So that means it's called learning is happening deeply. When our learning is shallow, and so then we are not able to recollect what we learned. So we read a lot of times how to manage ourselves better. And here now, emotions being stored in the second brain, emotions that are being stored in the second brain, where it's called the subconscious, and then requires a lot of repeated learning for anything to go and store in the subconscious. So the points to understand here are, every time we are learning something new, we are changing our brain by creating new neural circuits, but every time we learn something new with emotions, with visuals, we're recording the feelings, then we are learning a lot more deeply as it's going as an emotion that is recorded in the subconscious. Now, what stays in the subconscious is what operates. So let's understand this perspective, this understanding into your daily situation. Suppose you have a situation with your boss. Your boss is not necessarily being very nice to you, straight to you. Somebody who has been very, always goal-oriented, targets-oriented, is been getting on to you. And in case you don't deliver on time, or in case you're not come around and then update him on time, is just giving you back something, always giving feedback, always saying something to you. So when you are going into your office every day, and then the first thing is that the moment you see your boss, you have a behavior now. Because the boss, when he sees you, then he's got this behavior. So this person is not coming back and updating me regularly. So he's got a behavior, comes and says, hey, what happened? I'll ask you a lot of questions, which irritates you so much, because you know that you want to tell when you have some update, but then it keeps irritating you. And so the boss behavior is to ask you questions, to grill you, and your behavior is to evade, to disappear from the scene the moment you see the boss. To disappear from the scene. You find ways to not be seen. And even if you're seen, you're ready with your response to tell. I will tell you when I have something to do. You're ready with your response before you even know what he or she is going to tell you something. Because these are the default behaviors. And you don't enjoy this. Definitely don't enjoy it when you see. Suppose, dear friends, you have learned. You've gone to a meditation course, you've gone to a training somewhere, when you learn about how to be very considerate to other people. You learned about this. how to be very considerate. The boss learned, but here you learned it very much. How to be considerate, how to be tolerant with others' behaviors. You learned in a meditation session. So you like it. How to be tolerant. Hey, develop some awareness, take a few breaths. It is okay. The person may be what they are, they're ignorant. And so you got some responses going, and then you really like it and say, okay, I want to use this in my daily situation. I've got this tough boss to manage. And so let me be more tolerant. Let me be more considerate here rather than going by my old judgmental behavior about him. And so you learn this, and then when you like it, because you learned it through a lot of feeling, you like it, then what you do, you go and then tell a friend and say, tell you what, last time I learned this thing and it's really good, that book is talking about it, the workshop is there, that master's lecture is there, you also go and listen to it. You repeat it. When you like something, you repeat it. And then so your friend also, you're telling the stories, and he says, okay, really? So how else have a situation, I'm going to apply it. So when you go in to your office next day after learning this, and you see your boss, and it's now you have the same choice. The choice to disappear from the scene, avoid that person, or the moment the person says something, and then before they say, you cut it or cut him off or her off. But there is a new response that you learned, that potentially that you have an option that you come there and say, wait a minute, rather than giving my old response of avoiding him or trying to tell him that, no, hey, don't bother me, I'm going to tell you in a harsh way. Then you say, wait, I can be tolerant today. And then you may be able to just take a few breaths, just close your eyes and then observe the breath and come open, relax back to your boss and friend who is going to say something to you. And then for all you know, today may be wanting to compliment you for what you've done. You don't know. But if you do it once, the learning that you had becomes stronger. A second time, you do it once, the learning that you had and the cells that fire together, wire together, and so you do it once with a tolerance response, you're doing two things. You're repeating the whole thing that you learned about how to be tolerant, and so it becomes stronger. And then you're storing an experience here with feelings, so that thing becomes stronger with a lot more connections. So your memory got stronger. What is then subconscious projects for us regularly. And so one time you did it, you felt happy, so there is a happy emotion attached with it, because for the first time, you responded differently to your boss, a new learning, a new emotion. You felt good, it got recorded there. Now, is one time enough? Because next time you go, then next time you'll not be complimenting, you may be asking you the same. And so we apply it a second time, because we know it. One time a response of anger management, anything is not sufficient. We apply them a second time, you apply a third time, then it becomes stronger and stronger a period of time. While we are creating a new circuit, subconscious as a memory for this experience that we're going through, we are doing another thing. Cells that do not fire together, that also do not wire, or use it or lose it principle. Use it or lose it. So your old response of not shouting at your boss or not giving your standard reply or avoiding as a circuit in your memory is slowly dying, because use it or lose it. You don't use it, so you slowly lose it. So the old response is waning away while the new response is becoming stronger and stronger. But what is the connection with meditation, dear friends? Two things. In order to bring that response in that moment, first time after learning about being tolerant, in order to bring the response in that moment with your boss, your friend, right there, you need that awareness in the moment. To not run away or to not readily have those dialogues just give back. You need that awareness. To be in that moment, to be aware of what's going on in your mind. What is that feeling, emotion you're bringing? You need that awareness. Awareness to choose a different response. Wait a minute, I have a tolerance response than in harsh words to the person. First step. The second thing, dear friends, that is required also is in order for us to use a newer understanding that we had and to repeat and then to use a newer understanding, we need a lot of neural connection. The brain has to support to form the connections called neural glue. If I don't have sufficient neural glue, it's called neuroplasticity, to be able to rewire a brain again. So I have to have sufficiently enough neural glue with neural connections so that my brain can form them. Meditation is supplying plenty of neural glue and then keeping a brain neuroplastic. That means it is ready to learn, to relearn, and then form new circuits. When we are stressful on the opposite side, meditation removes the stress, and the opposite, when we are stressful, we hardly have any neural connections that glue. It's all less resources, less blood supply. And so there is all brain has become neuro-rigid, is not ready to learn, not ready to change, because a lot part of it is lack of connections to change, to rewire. So lack of awareness and the lack of sufficient neural connections to apply something that we learned is causing us to stay what we were before. So that spark in that moment that I must apply a tolerance response, dear friends, comes with awareness that meditation builds to us plenty. And then applying that, and so then we have a newer response with a newer emotion, and so newer memory to record it, having sufficient connections is given through meditations to neural capacity building. So when we do when these two happen, dear friends, you've done it once. You feel good. And so you come back a second time, you want to do it again because the last time you felt good. The nature of our reality is that we want to connect with people. When we connect with people, we always feel really good. When we disconnect, we don't feel that good. Feeling good drives us to do more. So you do a second time, you do a third time. So that learning about being tolerant, what we learned in that workshop or whatever that you've gone to that book, now is becoming into a practice that you're doing now. One time you did it, it's not adequate. You did a second time, the third time, the fourth time. And so it's called doing, applying that learning into practice. And then over a period of time, your doing becomes and you become of it. So you be of it. It's called learn, do, be. You become of it. So you don't need to have any more recollection. You don't need to have an active effort to be tolerant. Your default behavior is tolerant. Not only now with the other person, with everybody, because you are a tolerant person. So we change emotionally, dear friends, significantly when we have that awareness, when we have enough circuits in our brain to support, and meditation is greatly helping us in doing this. That's why people who can do many, many emotional management courses that are dealing with, just learning new information that cannot be applied because there's no awareness. The stress is still carrying, so there's not adequate supply for them to learn, relearn, to re-implement whatever that we're learning. And so then everything that we learn cannot be implemented, lack of awareness and lack of that support in the brain. But meditation is beautifully doing it. And so Graham Phillips, the astrophysicist experiment they've done, that in 8 weeks of meditation course, he changed 25% behavioral patterns in 8 weeks. Things that have been built up over a lifetime as emotional patterns because they keep repeating, in 8 weeks, he was able to change 25% in his behavior and emotions and emotional regulation. And so you do the math and figure, that means in about 6 months to 8 months, we become a new person completely. We have the opportunity to become a new person in many, many ways that we deal with things, with people. So we'll use this as a basis. We understand in the next session what emotional intelligence means. In psychological terms, is defined as self-awareness, regulation, self-awareness, expression, inspiration, empathy, and engagement. You're going to understand these concepts the rest of the week, how meditation is building all of them, the basis being awareness. Thank you very much, friends, for joining. Madam, any announcements today?
Yes, sir. On Mondays, we have a book reading session. So from 8:15 to 9:15 in the morning and 8 to 9 in the evening. So I request you all to please join the session. And today's the book which we are right now, we are in the morning sessions and evening sessions on Mondays is Autobiography of Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda. So please read, listen to the session. It's a very interesting book and a very, very enriching experience. It would be, I'm sure. That's it, sir.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, friends. It's quite past time. So we'll circle back tomorrow again. And those of you who want to share your meditation experience from today or any questions on this topic, do stay back. Thank you.
So, sir, Praful sir is having a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, ma'am. And that's happy morning and namaskar to everybody. As I say, sir said just now, for meditation experiences and coming to life, near about 8 weeks, when you are doing that continuously, then 25% you can learn and apply in your day-to-day life and all. So my question is, so our course is 40 days. So is anything meaning behind this or that 40 days course, meditation course?
Well, that is one research, scientific evidence that somebody has done, so we wanted to quote. But does not in any way mean that you may take 8 weeks. There's an astrophysicist who, based on his brain condition, his learning, his state, how logically deep he was and all of that, based on that, it was 8 weeks for him, 25%. It is only showing that the power is significant, that with meditation, in 6 to 8 months, you can totally change. But however, we do see that many people in 40 days change significantly. You don't even have to wait for 8 weeks. You probably will be a totally changed person in this 6 weeks here itself, not only 25%, maybe 95%. Okay. We know there is a lot more than 25%. I'll quote our research. In our research, what we see, generally people are quoting more than 80% they have changed in the way they deal with emotions by the time they finish the program. Okay. Self-assessment they fill. Yeah, so you're very good. 6 weeks will be a totally different person.
Okay. Thank you.
We believe the meditation practice is very deep.
Sir, now only I am feeling that is I am something different, and I'm just changing so many things in my life, getting control on myself. So it is surely it's a benefit.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Ashokji, please unmute yourself.
Atamadan, Madam Ji, and Atamadan Chandra sir, and all dear masters. I am attending this session from Tapsthali, Pyramid Valley.
Pyramid Valley.
Yeah. I want to only share that I have a great experience. Thank you very much for Chandra sir's yesterday conversation with Chandra sir. And thank you so much. And thank you for this wisdom sharing about the capacity of our brain. I want to just thank you. Thank you so much.
Show us Tapasthali there.
Yeah, sir. हाँ? Sure. दिखाइए.
अभी
कैमरे में जाना है ना? Just a minute, sir. Just a minute, sir. इसी में जाएंगे. इसी में दिखाएंगे ना?
समझ में आता है.
दिखाइए ना. एक मिनट. कैसे दिखाएंगे?
क्या पता नहीं.
अब तो वर्चुअल बैकग्राउंड है. तो वर्चुअल बैकग्राउंड निकालिए, नहीं तो फोन को ऑपोजिट.
हाँ, करेक्ट.
फोन का ऑपोजिट किया सर.
हाँ.
वो निकालना पड़ेगा वर्चुअल.
Are you able to see? No.
No.
Yeah.
हाँ, अभी देख सकते.
अभी देख रहे हैं ना सर. सबसे just a minute.
It's all missed.
Yeah.
What time is it? 7:30, 8 o'clock.
1 minute. Give me half a minute, sir.
Okay. In the meanwhile, who else is there?
I'll show you Lord Shiva.
You show us meditating Shiva.
Meditating Shiva.
So it's all blur. I don't know. It's blurred. We can't see it.
Remove blur.
It's blurred. So is that your camera is? Can't see it. Never mind. It's blurred. It's all blurred.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, because there are lot of persons meditating also here.
Okay. Let's not disturb them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody want to share your experience for another 5 to 8 minutes? Tapasthali is a beautiful place on the hill at Pyramid Valley. Where we have Lord Shiva in a beautiful meditating posture. So it's sort of, when you go there, Shiva represents Laya, dissolving into the energy. Right? Everything ultimately is got to dissolve back. And so that's what we do every day. We would dissolve into that energy field. It's always representing that. And so it evokes a great feeling to just go there and sit down and meditate in Pyramid Valley.
I think no more questions, sir.
No more questions. Is Mridula, she is there? Mridula, madam, are you there? Not there. Ashiji, what's happening? What's new?
Yeah, so actually, in terms of new, today I had a little bit of in fact, after many days, I had a very different experience. Today, I could actually experience that the mind is that emptiness that you keep speaking about, na? That empty the mind. So today I could actually experience that the mind is empty. So that was a new experience in that sense for me, because I just felt that there is no weight. So that was a new experience for me today.
What books are you reading, sir?
I finished reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's You Are the Place book. That I have read, and rest of the books I haven't read. One I have read.
Still have not read.
No.
Ashish ji, we are wasting our life. What do you say?
Okay. All right. Okay. I think this conversation was needed for me then.
We have to read minimum those 20 books.
Okay.
Minimum. That's the least we need to do, we can do.
Okay.
See, knowledge equals to experience, you know it.
Right.
You know it. The more you enrich yourself, this learning to doing to being, your experience will change significantly. Your understanding will change, so you implement much faster. You progress much faster.
Right.
Imagine a person earning, let's say, $1,000 a month and suddenly earns $100,000 a month. What will be the level of experiences that they can think of having? Suddenly, the kind of freedom that it gives, the kind of empowerment that it may do to them in experiencing things.
Right.
Knowledge is a million times more powerful from that perspective. Right? And so that's how we have to see, is that what we know is so little, then when we read them, it suddenly empowers us to experience so many more things. Because this knowledge is unlimiting. It's not limiting us. None of those books that will limit you in anything. It can only unlimit you from things that you think that you've set unknowingly in your subconscious. Money by itself may not unlimit you. It'll only unlimit a few beliefs that are there. But this knowledge will unlimit you across the board, including things about money. So then we create more of it, you know it.
Right.
We must learn, we must read, sir. We have to read. Hope next time I ask, you would say that I've finished 10 more books.
Yes, sir. I think that was the inspiration that was needed. Very timely.
I've read at least 6,000 books now, and I'm continuing to read.
Wow.
You know, we explore in all directions. We don't limit to science books alone. Osho book, please take a Osho book and read. If anybody here on this right now, and then you are here because you really like what you're doing and you're more committed to meditation, then must read a book on Osho. More than 150 books are there by Osho. Must read. First of all, if you formed any opinion of Osho, then you're the first one to immediately change all of that. And then second, then his profound wisdom on how to live life moment to moment. And what does it mean to be expressing love? What does it mean to be childlike and spontaneous? And you will know it all. What does it mean to love yourself? You'll know it all through Osho. in a humorous way. Beautiful. I mean, if I have to rate all authors and Osho, then I rate all the authors I read, I say he is the best. Amazing, amazing wit and humor and spontaneity and things that flow in his books. When I read first time Satyam Shivam Sundaram book long ago, like many also had an opinion. It's easy to form opinions, right? We just read one article and form an opinion. But only after reading, I said how stupid I was in forming a new opinion, because it blocks us, right, to learn more from a person or something. It was that powerful. His books are that much enriching. So Osho's books. We do have recommended, any Osho's book, I think in the book list that is specified. Must read. Yes, talking about books, Jagdish, I'm sure, can say many things about books.
Sorry. Book reading has also been a very, very long time friend of mine. So there's nothing very strange about it. Actually, if you want to write now, I just finished a very interesting book about modern philosophers. There are a lot of books on philosophers. There are some so-called modern philosophers. I just finished that book. Not a very book. And right now, if you want to know, I'm reading two other books, both nothing to do with spirituality. One is on blockchain technology. There's a second book I'm reading fully on blockchain technology. And the other book I'm reading is actually on the mathematics of quantum physics. So these are just interests that I have. But whenever I find time, I read poetry. I like poetry very much. I keep rereading mystic poets. It's just a hobby of mine, and that's it. And since I've been teaching now recently, etc., I have to go back and read a number of books. But I agree totally with what Mr. Chandra sir says. Reading our books makes a very, very big difference in life, because it enhances one. And incidentally, since you mentioned Osho, I would like to mention, I also had prejudice. In fact, I stayed in Pune for some time in a lodge right next to his ashram. And the local Puneans were very upset about some of the things that people talked about Osho. But like you said, the books that I read about Osho made a lot of sense. He is a very radical person. His ideas were so radical, and therefore I immediately gelled with him. He rejects many of the old beliefs. He rejects what is called the lies that people tell you, and so on and so forth. And he keeps telling you, keep asking your question every moment. Are you there? Are you there? Are you becoming servile to others? Wake up. This is his message. And I too have read quite a few books of Osho. Thanks a lot for asking me. I don't know what else to answer, because books reading is just part of me. I've always been that. So that's it. Thank you.
Yes, it's very apt for today's conversation we had on learning, doing, being. It all starts from there. Yes, Sonal, ma'am, love, life, and laughter. That's right? Yeah.
I was never an avid reader, but that was when I was 17. That was my first book ever, which I reread, and it was, of course, very radical. And in those days, if you are even talking anything about Osho was a big thing, because, it was not understood. But yes, I've listened to many of his recordings, but that's one of I think it's very close to me, because that was the first book ever that I fell in love with. And I've reread one book and it's still with me. It's called Love, Life, and Laughter. But you're right. It talks about whole life as a goal, how to live and how to self-love. So just kind of came from nowhere. I never thought you'll be recommending Osho, but thank you.
Madam, not recommending. We are 90% Osho philosophy. Living life the full. 90% is about absolutely live life the way you want it. 10% we also explore life after life concepts. That is not encouraged, but that's his mission, right? Not that he did not know, it's his mission, that's all. Every person has a mission, but he's one of the greatest masters of all time. And so we are, and then Patriji's philosophy, PSS movement's philosophy, and then so is Buddha's foundation philosophy, is that 80 to 90% living this life explore everything, and so that's Osho. And the 10 to 20% life after life is important. We understand our connection into this reality, and so that we know where to fit in, and we know the big picture, so we always are working as that.
As a child, what I understood was, being honest. And for that, you need courage. No matter what it is or which circumstance it is, and which our society they want you to be the way they would like you to see. Breaking those norms because you're honest. But now that wisdom has come where people are courageous and able to accept. So, I've seen a big difference in 80s to now. Even with our children, with our family setup in our society, people are more courageous because they have knowledge now. Earlier, not everybody had knowledge. We just were told what to do, and everybody kept, just following that norm. So if you're not out of the norm, then it's not correct because we are also judging. So that's what I learned. One thing that is to be courageous, and for that you need, if you're truthful, then you need not worry, no matter what it is. So that was kind of instilled, that being truthful needs a lot of courage, which people don't realize it. That is why you don't have any, you are what you see, that, and now everybody's kind of, by doing different things, they're kind of realizing that they've lost their own truth self. So much for it, but thank you.
Yes,
It's
wonderful.
I had no idea.
It's lack of courage that we succumb to the pressures around.
Right.
But we build it from inside,
Correct.
With spiritual practice, with meditation, right? Practice makes you independent and builds you the courage because you recognize that you have nothing to lose. You come to that conclusion, I have nothing to lose from anybody. By expressing, and you have everything to gain, because an expression is when you create. Nothing to lose because you are so connected, you are that, so what to lose? And everything to gain because your observation creates things for you. Yes.
So we have Hari and Shri Lakshmi. So one more.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you for today's session. I have one basic question. Actually, I did yoga course from Vyasa in 2005 when I was in Bangalore. Vyasa is there in
Yes.
Jigni, right?
They are very good friends to us.
Yeah. So Nagendra sir and all. So I did in 2005 when I started my career. So at that time I did one project work as part of that, yoga and parapsychology. In that I have written one subject like quantum physics and all. I forgot honestly now what I have written at that time. I collected some information and all. So you mentioned, every time you are mentioning the quantum field, right? What exactly it is meaning, and what made to use that one? I mean, Newtonic physics is there and quantum physics is there. Is there something? Other day you explained the new all atomic structure and all, but this quantum field exactly what is? Can you please explain a little bit more? I might have missed. If you explain, you would have explained in the early classes. I'm not sure because I missed first two classes.
Day 16 video. I'm not sure there. On day 16, we talked about quantum field and then what it is comprised of. That's last week, day 16. Why don't you, Sri Hari, take a look at the day 16 video back again, post-meditation session.
Okay.
And then we can have a conversation. Quantum
Yeah.
field is nothing but everything that exists in the entire universe. That's all it's quantum field. In
Okay.
simplest terms, all that exists in the entire universe, including the matter, is always quantum field.
Oh, got it.
And we are connecting to this field every day because the quantum field is seen as energy. The default is it's seen as energy. Everything is energy, including the body is energy because it's also oscillating between matter to energy quite frequently right now. So quantum field is seen as a big energy that is out there, encompassing the entire multiverse. We connect to it every day when we drop our matter through meditation.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it. And that quantum field is that intelligence is equal to your Paramatma and Atma combined, is equal to your Brahman, is equal to your superconscious mind, is equal to your God of gods. That's all it is. Everything is that quantum field that has got just different names we're utilizing. But we're using a scientific word to connect us because it is what it is, truly. We are connected to this quantum energy field every day.
Yeah, on that day you explained, I mean, everything is atoms, right? Every matter, everything. So that's what, yeah, got it. Thank you. And coming to today's session, I mean, I was reading one book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, Shed Hamster. In that also, how to reprogram brain and all this subject, they very nicely explained. He's one of the a PhD person. Is good information, actually. I think I am carrying this book. This is What to Say When You Say Yourself.
What to say when you talk to yourself? Okay.
Shed Hamster. He is the research scientist, actually.
Okay. We'll take
good book, actually. Yeah, good book. Whatever you explained today.
Thank you.
Very deep one. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you, Vinitha Madam. Nice to have you as my partner for this week.
My pleasure, sir.
Host. That's great. So good to see you there. That's really nice. And you learned it all. I know they were telling you things late in the night.
No, it's
All
perfectly.
right. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.
You have to believe in yourself.
Okay. We've been having.
Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness.
We have a new technical host today. So learning it all pretty quickly. That's what is happening.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Sorry, everyone.
It's okay. We learn fast. But what to do? So I'll share.
Yes, sir. I'm really sorry. I'm not able to do that somehow.
Okay, go ahead, Koti.
And I know the light of love is shining in my eyes. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Yes, I am. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I know the light of love is shining in my eyes. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. A little birdie told